Decided to sign a prenup against my lawyer's advice.
Even in divorce, I don't think it's right when men be trying to take half of the women.
So you gained your money while the man was with you, and he nurtured you, he helped you, he gave you ideas, he was a part of that, that progression. You don't think he should get anything?
Speak on it with Mama Joyce, please. Oh, no. Mama does not need to be on Speak on it right now because she might speak too much.
My mom's a single mother. A lot of my aunts are single mothers. Me and a lot of my cousins are single mothers. And I really hate that I became part of the cycle.
Todd and I were together our marriage lasted 11 years. We was together like 14. We got 2 wonderful, beautiful children. I have no regrets. Okay. So, sometimes things don't work out.
Rivah TV. What's up, guys? It's your girl Rivah, and I'm back again with another video. So here we are again discussing the turn of events in the divorce regarding Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker. Again, we discussed this before in the beginning. Kandi Burruss is a member of the group Escape. She also is a Grammy Award-winning writer for many songs that a lot of us know. She is the person behind writing the song for TLC titled No Scrubs. I don't want no scrub. The scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. She's also, was and maybe is, if she decides to go back, a longtime cast member of the TV show Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I was born and raised in Atlanta. I am an original Georgia peach.
Now, that's actually where she met her husband, Todd. He was on the production of the show at the time, and the two of them, got together, ended up getting married, and then having 2 children. So basically, at the beginning of the conversation that we were having, it was a little bit of speculation. It was kind of like a weird space where people were saying it's because, they had other people involved in their marriage, and the fact that, they invite other people into the bedroom.
Curves 230 said threesomes never work. That's not true. I done had a threesome and it worked just fine.
Do you and Todd currently have threesomes, or is that something that y'all just did early on in y'all relationship, y'all marriage?
As it had been in the past 6 months, yes.
There was talks about maybe it had to do with something in regards to finances. For those of you who do not know, her mother and basically all of her aunts were on the side that he was just in it for her money, and he didn't really love her for who she was. It was kind of like a come up situation, and so people thought it was because of that.
No. I'm here trying to take your daughter's money.
Not taking it.
Okay. Spending it?
Well, it could have been a scheme that Todd set up.
Even in my opinion, I was wondering if it was even a PR stunt, because though they were going through their divorce secretly or their separation secretly, and a lot of people didn't know, she ended up promoting a tour that she was doing. And basically it was about a woman who is navigating life after, ending a relationship. So there was a lot of speculation, a lot of stuff going on. Well, now things have come to the surface. Todd has now come forth, and he basically is seeking primary custody of their 2 children. And he's also talking about the fact that, when signing the prenup, he didn't get to, go through all the details because he was rushed to sign it on the day of the wedding. So as you can see here, it says Todd Tucker seeks primary custody and challenges the prenup in his split from Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kandi Burruss. And then the caption reads, Mama Joyce, who is actually Kandi Burruss' mother, who I was referring to, who has been trying to, stop the whole thing.
To me, it looked like you're very thrifty.
And to be fair, her mother was very divisive to any relationship that Kandi got into, because, I don't know if she was trying to protect, her daughter's finances, if she was trying to protect her allotted finances for herself from her daughter's income, whatever the case is.
You dogged him out. You treated me. You made him feel uncomfortable in his own house.
That's your house.
It's our house.
I want you to be able to choke on a chicken bone and he come over here and tell me I got to get out.
So it says, Mama Joyce has been trying to tell the world something wasn't sitting right, and now Todd Tucker is officially asking for primary custody of his and Kandi Burruss' kids, while also questioning the prenup he signed before their 2014 wedding. According to legal docs obtained by Us Weekly, Todd says the kids are already living with him in Georgia, while Kandi handles out-of-state work, and he argues her schedule will keep her away for several months. He's asking for primary physical custody, joint legal custody, and final decision-making authority. Todd also claims he felt pressured when the prenup was presented to him, saying he didn't have proper counsel at the time. His filing says the circumstances raise substantial questions about whether the prenup is even enforceable. So it's so interesting because, again, being that they are reality stars and being that they were on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, the wedding was covered. Okay, so we had all the backstage footage of the wedding, in which people have been releasing clips of, the time that, they were doing the prenup, in which she actually had it video recorded so that it can be said, later on that it was maybe a forged signature or whatever the case is.
Okay, ready. This is a video recording of the execution of the prenuptial agreement between Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker.
Even in the clip, he said that against his, legal counsel's advice, he still decided to go ahead and sign the prenup.
Decided to sign a prenup against my lawyer's advice.
Because he wanted to marry Kandi that day. But then you can hear when the, the lawyer is asking the questions of if he had enough time or if whatever. On the video recording, he stated that he indeed had enough time.
Acknowledge that you had a sufficient amount of time and opportunity to fully consider the prenuptial agreement and to request changes to the prenuptial agreement.
Yes.
Now again, when they were there setting up the venue for the wedding, okay, when they were putting the chairs up, people were putting the flowers together, all the above, he brought it to her before he went through with the prenuptial agreement that we saw that was on video. And he was still saying, that he had wrote comments saying that he didn't have enough time to review it. He didn't have enough time to look through it. He didn't have enough time to scan through. And it was her lawyer who actually was admitting that he said that.
Okay, he wanted you guys to call his attorney, but why didn't you call him today?
Because it didn't seem like it was necessary. He didn't have enough time to advise Todd about the agreement.
Now, Kandi Burruss' prenuptial agreement was what you call ironclad. Okay, there were all kind of clauses in there. There were clauses to say that if, she didn't want him no more, he had 30 days to leave the household.
We don't work out. I got to get out the damn house in 30 days. How do I find a house in 30 days?
Relationship, when y'all broke up, did you just keep living together?
Which I think is kind of understandable in the regard that, why would you want to stay somewhere when the two of you guys are going through a divorce? There was other things there that said, that if he gets sick or whatever the case is, that he leave and she not paying for nothing. There was some serious stuff in that prenuptial agreement.
You understand that you're giving up your rights to periodic alimony, lump sum alimony, alimony in kind, attorney's fees, and expenses of litigation, property settlement, equitable distribution, and community property.
If I were to get sick, just get out. It seemed like the document was just so business. It felt like Kandi hadn't even really reviewed it.
Now, he's right. A prenuptial agreement is indeed a business document. It is, because it's about, there can't be emotion in it, because at that time when people are getting divorced, if they have to go down that route, they have to think in terms of, okay, how can I best protect myself if me and you are at odds, if me and you aren't getting along, if me and you can't be on the same page. Now, here's the thing. I think a lot of people have this ideology of, Todd being a gold digger, and a lot of that, again, comes from Kandi Mama, okay, because she did not help the case at all.
Don't let nobody take advantage of you like that.
I'm not going to let nobody disrespect me or tear me down. If your mom can't see that I'm here for you and I'm trying to be down, I don't know what else to do.
And I want to be clear, it is obvious that there can be gold diggers on each side. There's no preference, right? It's not like only women can be gold diggers. Whoever out there getting the most gold, the other person, opposing party, can be, in some kind of situation where they can assume the position of gold digger. They can become that over time. They can have a motive that was always there, whatever the situation is. But in particular conversations that was being had, it seemed as though Todd was frustrated prior to the wedding because he wanted stuff that was going to be there to protect himself. And, you know, she kind of wasn't having it.
Todd has never given me any reason to think that we were not on the same page when it came to the prenup. Now that Todd has gotten this attorney, he keeps going back to, well, Randy says, or Randy thinks. No, what do you think? What do you want? Because bottom line is, I'm marrying Todd Tucker, not Randy.
Now, this is the thing, right? And I'm with you when you're right. I literally am that type of person. Like, I don't sway my opinion based off of a certain narrative. I'm an honest person, right? And we have to be truthful about this. If the shoe was on the other foot and Todd was the breadwinner and Kandi was fighting for primary custody and Kandi was saying she didn't have enough time to review the prenuptial agreement and Kandi was in the seat that Todd is in, there would be no smoke at all for Kandi.
Growing up, because I was making money, I used to be like, well, you know, I don't need anybody to help me take care of my child. My mom's a single mother. A lot of my aunts are single mothers. Me and a lot of my cousins are single mothers. And I really hate that I became part of the cycle.
There would be no problem that anybody is having. But that clip that we just saw in which she's, you know, talking about how Todd kept referring to his attorney while simultaneously having her attorney talk to him on the phone about certain things in the agreement with no problem, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with him getting legal counsel for this big, entire, gigantic legal document. The same way that Kandi's attorneys were, you know, trying to protect her, he had legal counsel trying to protect him for whatever case of whatever situation it's going to be. And I think that's completely understandable.
Be clear and make sure we're all on the same page.
Happy to talk to the floor. Happy to do I can.
Okay, cool.
This is what's interesting, right? When Todd and Kandi first met, like I said, he was a production of Real Housewives of Atlanta. At that time, Kandi Burruss was already a millionaire. Okay, a few times over, right? Like I said, she wrote No Scrubs a long time ago. I believe she wrote Bills, Bills, Bills for Destiny's Child a long time ago. Like, she wrote these songs a long time ago. Escape already had a certain catalog, and she was a writer on those projects as well. So her money was extensive at the time the two of them got together.
I used to be a member of the group Escape. We had our first hit single when I was 17. We had 3 platinum albums, and I started writing songs and have had a very successful career as a songwriter. I've written for everybody from Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, NSYNC, Alicia Keys. The list goes on.
Once the two of them got together, they started to do a lot of different business ventures. They've done, I believe, don't quote me if I'm wrong, but I believe they, invested in a restaurant for her aunts and like her family. They've done plays. They've done all kinds of different business ventures together. And she stated that from that time, that anytime that they did a business venture, they had specific contracts and he got paid verbatim for the work that he did.
Because everything he worked on me with, he got a half of. He's never just worked for me for free, ever.
So in that regard, that would mean that, in the future, he doesn't need to recoup anything based off of what he invested because he already got payment for his time, his efforts, and his work that he invested in the situation. Which, again, I think is pretty understandable, right? It's completely understandable. Now, the thing is that him asking for primary custody, people are saying, that this is a pivot so that he can get child support in the future, so that he can kind of anchor certain things over her head, so that he can be able to continue to live off of the revenue that she has been able to acquire for herself. And that's where a lot of people think this is going. Todd Tucker ended up posting after he, put that out there that he's looking for primary custody. He ended up posting this on his social media. It's a picture of him and his mother, and it says, "Mama, I hope you are resting well. I need you more than ever right now. You raised a good man that will continue to make you proud. My boy Raymond left yesterday. Tell him I said what's up. I have a lot of unfinished business down here, but I look forward to the day I'll see you again. And if you see God, tell him I'm doing my best and I have faith in this journey he has me on because I know I'm destined for greatness. Love you, the best damn son in the world." So he posted that on his social media, obviously talking about the fact that he's grieving his friend in the time he's grieving his mother. And, he's going through this tumultuous situation, whether it's because he caused it or not, whatever situation, obviously he's going through some kind of tumultuous situation. Now, after he posted that on social media, women went off on him. Okay, they absolutely went off on him. However, there was a thread or chain of women who came to his defense, who also were there visually watching what's going on, through television or whatever the case, and had a lot to say in support of Todd. As you can see, it says unpopular opinion. I love Kandi, but she is lucky Todd even stayed long the way he did. Kandi's mother was and has always been an awful person to him. I actually loved them together, so I'm sad to see this. Next one says, y'all gotta lay up off Todd. We don't know what really happened. Remember, it takes two people to be married. Cut dude some slack. Sheesh. Next one says, she really was the only one who had his back when Kandi mama used to belittle him for everything. And so that woman is actually talking about, the picture in which he posted his mom and saying that, the only person that Todd had in his corner while Kandi had her mom, her aunts, and all those people was his own mother. Next one says, unpopular opinion, but why are we coming at Todd? That man endured a lot with Kandi's mom and family. Who knows why they're divorcing? To say Mama Joyce was right the whole time is a stretch. And that's the narrative that I see. I see a long thread narrative saying like, oh, Kandi's mom was right. She was right all along and he should have listened to his mom and all that. I see that like a million times when I'm scrolling through social media. But, and then Kandi's actually kind of playing up into the narrative. Not to say that she's not going to post her mom or be around her mom. But ironically, in the midst of everybody posting about her mom, she ends up putting this picture on her social media. So again, it's just a messy situation. And one thing that I want to say is that, we're all just kind of watching the situation unfold. We don't know the in-depth reason as to what was the cause of the demise of their marriage. Todd has been in this relationship with Kandi for a very long time. They had outside parties involved in the marriage. They had all these things, and so to leave the lifestyle knowing the prenuptial agreement that he signed, I don't know if he would, by choice, do that. Maybe it had nothing to do with the past of what he was going through. Maybe it has to do with her just not wanting to be with him anymore. Maybe she fell out of love. Maybe some of the other parties influenced her. I don't know. But the fact that, it's like if a man and a woman are in a relationship and the woman does wrong, the man gets the blame. If a man and a woman are in the relationship and the man does wrong, the man gets the blame. So it's like, no matter what he does in this situation, he's going to be considered wrong. But again, ironically, if we put the shoe on the other foot and Todd was the breadwinner and she was doing all these things, she would be getting the same amount of support that she's getting right now. I don't know. I'd love to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this entire situation. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.
Rivah TV.